Gai Sang takes out his razor, causing Dae Wong to panic. At the Fire Bear Gang's capital branch, C1 is surprised by Kim Min-woo's failure. He apologizes, explaining that he didn't foresee Jeon-woo's loss. C1 lashes out, saying he should have intervened, pointing out that he just stood by as Jeong dominated the region. Kim Min-woo explains he had planned to help but was worried about Gai Sang, who was watching from the school rooftop. C1 dismisses Gai Sang as an idiot and tells Kim Min-woo not to make excuses. Kim Min-woo promises to bring good news next time. C1 wonders how Gai Sang could have come up with such a plan and realizes it must have been Jae-wook, making them angry. After Gai Sang finishes shaving Dae Wong's hair, Dae Wong asks to leave, but Gai Sang reminds him they still have much work to do and instructs him to greet him properly. Dae Wong thanks him as he cries. As the rain stops, Dae Hyeon informs Do Park that he will take Jeon-woo to the hospital alone and suggests Do Park talk to Myung-jun, who doesn't seem to be in good spirits. When they meet, Myung-jun explains feeling weak during the fight, and Do Park admits his weakness but emphasizes his strength in facing real men. He compares this to Jeong, who, instead of complaining, works on becoming stronger. They then ride to the hospital together. Meanwhile, Dae Hyeon arrives at the hospital with Jeon-woo as the Fire Bear Gang leader, golfing with his wife, receives a call from C1 about Jeong's news. Hankook suggests she should cook for Jeong, but she replies that Jeong hates her food. He explains that Jeong needs a motherly touch, and as she tries to respond, he gives her a piercing stare. Back at home, the uncles are preparing a party for the young master. Taegon wonders where Gai Sang and Jae-wook are and calls Jae-wook, who tells him he won't be able to attend and reminds him to ensure Hung-soo and Jeong do not cross paths. After the call, Taegon tries to reach Gai Sang but is unsuccessful, leaving him to wonder what Gai Sang is doing. As Gai Sang takes Dae Wong to the hideout, Dae Wong is shocked to find 3 other bald individuals. Gai Sang sits down and instructs him to put on his new uniform, as he's now considered the 4th member. When one of them puts his hands on Dae Wong, he recognizes him as Dae Won, causing a panic. However, Gai Sang dismisses the significance, emphasizing that he's number 4 now and orders Dae Wong to change into the uniform, which he does. Gai Sang then questions Dae Wong about Eun Chan-woo, but Dae Wong's quiet reply frustrates the others, who threaten him. Gai Sang calmly instructs Dae Wong to call Chan-woo. Meanwhile, Jeong expresses gratitude to Lee Yeji for her plan, acknowledging that he would have been in big trouble without her. Blushing, the two of them ride to his house together as the uncles finish up preparations. Taegon hears the doorbell, assuming it's the young master returning, but is surprised to find the boss and his wife, Hung-soo, have arrived. At the hospital, Dae Hyeon informs the nurse that he found Jeon-woo unconscious on the street. The nurse tells him to wait until Jeon-woo's guardian arrives. Suddenly, Kim Min-woo arrives, introducing himself as the guardian. As Myung-jun and Do Park pull into the hospital parking lot, Do Park warns Myung-jun not to remove his helmet. He spots a group of men with red ties, suspecting they may be from the Fire Bear Gang. However, he notices a man with a yellow tie in a van, indicating he's a member of the Red Dragon Gang. Do Park realizes they are in a precarious situation and walks into the elevator. He meets with Ji Hyeon and Dae Hyeon in the hospital, where Ji Hyeon expresses surprise upon learning that Lee Yeji is dating a gangster boss's son. In the adjacent room, Kim Min-woo is surprised that Jeon-woo survives despite losing a significant amount of blood. He wonders if Jeong's technique was taught by Jae-wook and holds Jae-wook accountable for ruining their plan. He apologizes to Jeon-woo. Back at the house, as the boss settles into his seat, Hung-soo realizes that Jeong can't confront her because his father is home, causing her to smile wickedly. When Jeong arrives at the entrance, he notices his father's car and wonders if the woman is there too. When he enters, Taegon tries to bring up something important, but Jeong walks past him. Taegon, now worried, repeatedly tries to call Gai Sang but with no success. As Jeong approaches his father, he offers congratulations on uniting the region and suggests greeting his mother. This prompts frustration in Jeong as he reminds his father that he only has one mother. Hankook interjects, pointing out that she is standing nearby and should be greeted. Jeong marches over to her and firmly tells her to leave, grabbing her arm. His father steps in, questioning what he is doing and instructing him to release her. Jeong refuses, staring defiantly at his father, demanding that he tell her to leave. With a smirk, his father asks if Jeong is going to hit him. He repeats his request for Jeong to let go, but Jeong refuses. Hankook sneers, suggesting that Jeong should release her so she can leave, catching both of them off guard. Hung Soo becomes frustrated, but Hankook declares that his son no longer needs her and orders her to leave, making her livid. Ji-young finally releases her bruised wrist and warns her not to set foot in their home again. She protests that Ji-young cannot forbid her from coming, but Hankook supports his son and commands her to depart. As she walks away, a sinister smirk spreads across her face, revealing that she has something sinister in mind. As they talk on the rooftop, his father inquires if Ji-young hates his mother to that extent. Ji-young clarifies that he doesn't hate his mother but rather the other woman. The father insists that Hung Soo is now his mother, but Ji-young sternly corrects him, saying he only has one mother, the one who raised and gave birth to him, the same mother who was kicked out by Hankook. He instructs Ji-young to speak respectfully and mentions that she left on her own. He claims that after his mother left, his father pushed him under Jae-wook and never visited him again. His father, however, asserts that he required an heir and wanted to ensure Ji-young had a mother to avoid any sadness. Ji-young begins to break down, questioning if he truly needs a mother. He wonders whether he should strive to be a good person again and accept the woman as his mother, as he previously stated, or if he should embrace his role as a bad person, as his father's heir. He tells his father to make a choice. His father chuckles and reassures him that if he doesn't need a mother, he won't force the issue. Apologizing to Ji-young, he catches him off guard, and they share a hug. Ji-young regains confidence and is determined to lead the Fire Bear gang. Meanwhile, Dae-wong is compelled to call Eun Chan-woo. Gai-sang instructs Eun Chan-woo to put the call on speaker. Urgently, Dae-wong requests a meeting. Suspecting that Dae-wong may have been caught, Kim Min-woo agrees to meet up after hanging up. Gai-sang tells him to change into their combat attire in preparation for their first fight together. Kim Min-woo mentions that today, he's not a Fire Bear gang member but rather Eun Chan-woo, the Tarzan legend of Mujin-hai. As Do Park leaves the hospital, he spots the same individual from the arena. Quickly taking a photo, he nearly gets caught. In the van, Kim Min-woo instructs his fellow gang members to wear their masks and remove their ties, warning them to prepare for the worst upon arrival. Despite some reluctance, Kim Min-woo stresses the importance of hiding their identities, suspecting that Gai-sang may have captured Dae-wong. This news causes the gang members to panic, fearing Gai-sang. Kim Min-woo manages to persuade them as they put on their masks and walk down into the lair. Upon encountering Gai-sang, who is seated, they prepare to attack, but just as they are about to strike, Gai-sang calmly orders, "Lights off," and his disciples, who had been instructed to keep their eyes closed, turn off the lights. Upon opening their eyes, they can see in the dark and swiftly attack the masked men. Gai-sang calls out to Eun Chan-woo, demanding an answer. One of the attackers pulls out a knife and lunges at one of Gai-sang's followers, delivering a slashing blow to the face and causing panic. Suddenly, the followers are hit from behind with a bat and collapse to the floor. The rest of the attackers are defeated, with Dae-wong claiming to have been saved. Gai-sang realizes that it was too soon to involve them in combat. Gai-sang swiftly dodges the knife, grabs the attacker's wrist, and breaks it with a punch, making him cry out. Another attacker attempts to swing a metal pipe, but Gai-sang blocks the blow and counters with a punch of his own. With only one henchman left, Eun Chan-woo proposes they attack together, which they do. Gai-sang dodges the incoming blow and punches the henchman in the stomach with his knuckle dusters. Eun Chan-woo tries to kick Gai-sang from behind, but Gai-sang blocks the hit using the henchman as a shield. Gai-sang delivers one final punch to the henchman before tossing him aside. Surprised by the skill gap, Eun Chan-woo launches an attack on Gai-sang with a kick, but it's easily blocked, much to his surprise. Chan-woo declares that he will demonstrate why he earned the title of Mujin-hai legend. As Gai-sang moves in close, Chan-woo manages to land a punch to Gai-sang's stomach, making him angry. Having reached his limit, he begins his walnut breath technique and asks Chan-woo if he's done playing. He suddenly rushes towards Chan-woo, who has no time to react and gets punched in the leg, causing a bone to break. He shrieks in agony, surprised that his leg broke in one hit. Gai-sang then punches him in the face, causing him to fall back, and follows up with a punch to the stomach that launches Chan-woo into the air. Gai-sang jumps up and dives downward, headbutting him and knocking Chan-woo out. As the fight concludes, Gai-sang attempts to take off the mask. Meanwhile, Lee Yeji is deciding what to wear for Ji-young's congratulation party. She tries on a more feminine outfit, wondering if Ji-young would like it, but ends up settling for a more natural style in which she feels confident. As the rest of the group arrives at the entrance of Ji-young's house, Myung-jun is worried about the presence of gangster uncles inside. Du Park and Lee Yeji arrive, and as Taegon opens the door, Du Park greets him. Taegon informs them that the big uncle is inside. Dae Hyeon is taken aback by Ji-young's wealth, and as Ji-young and his father notice their arrival, Du Park greets him without realizing that he's not an uncle but his father. The father is pleased with their greeting, and as Dae Hyeon greets him, the father notices the band on his arm. Du Park quickly changes the writing on the band, palming the father down. He asks who the girl is, and Lee Yeji introduces herself as just a friend. The father mentions that he will leave her to take care of his son, to which she thanks him. He then adds that he approves of Lee Yeji as long as it's not Soo Jin who made his son kind. Meanwhile, as Gai Sang tries to remove the face mask, Dae Wong sneaks up behind him with a knife, contemplating whether to stab Gai Sang and escape with Chan Woo. He pauses, glancing back at Gai Sang, and decides to put the knife down, stating that he will make the right decision today. As the mask comes off, he sees that it's Kim Min Woo. Hoping it wouldn't have been him, he tells his followers to tie him up as well as the rest. As they secure the captives, Gai Sang thanks his followers and instructs them to keep a watchful eye. As he steps away from the lair, he's stunned by how Jae-wook managed to orchestrate everything. He checks his phone and sees several missed calls from Taegon. Taegon informs him that the boss has returned home with his wife, causing Gai Sang to panic. After ending the call with Taegon, Gai Sang contacts Jae-wook and learns that the person posing as the Fire Bear Gang was Kim Min Woo. He's told to prevent Kim Min Woo from communicating with C1, and Jae-wook will return in a few days. Jae-wook instructs Gai Sang to keep the information from the boss to prevent the Fire Bear Gang from collapsing. Dae Wong apologizes to Eun Chan Woo as they whispered to each other. However, when Gai Sang reappears and asks what they were talking about, they panic. Gai Sang warns the remaining members that if they let Eun Chan Woo escape, he will hunt each of them down and kill them. He instructs them to choose wisely, as they could start a new life as hairless numbers under Gai Sang, intending to treat them as subordinates of the Fire Bear Gang, meaning they are part of the family. Gai Sang takes his leave, and Chan Woo asks the others to call for help, but they refuse, much to Dae Wong and Eun Chan Woo's surprise. They advise number 4 to choose his side carefully after seeing the Mu Jin Hai legend get crushed. Dae Wong has made up his mind and declares that he is no longer Dae Wong but number 4, and that Eun Chan Woo will soon be number 5, frustrating him. Back at the house, Gai Sang arrives, and the boss asks if he's ready to do what he was told, and that it's time to do it. Ji-young's father brings Ji-young to sit on a chair, and he wonders what's happening as Gai Sang tells him to stay still and don't move. Gai Sang was about to give a haircut, making Ji-young wonder if he even knew how to cut hair in the same style. Despite Ji-young's skepticism, Gai Sang confidently claimed to be a hairstyle expert. Ji-young's father reassured him that there was nothing to worry about, mentioning that Gai Sang cuts his hair all the time. Ji-young was surprised when his father informed him that he needed to show others he had become the Fire Bear's successor. He encouraged Ji-young to trust Gai Sang completely, and Ji-young allowed him to cut his hair. Gai Sang did his best, and when Ji-young opened his eyes to check the mirror, he was pleased with the results. His father suggested changing into new clothes to enhance the look, and Gai Sang offered to take care of it. Ji-young expressed his gratitude, and his father hugged him, thanking him for meeting expectations. Ji-young then suggested they eat, and his father instructed Gai Sang to bring the present. As Gai Sang opened the briefcase, Ji-young worried it might contain another knife but was surprised to find a case filled with medicine. His father and Gai Sang explained that the products used on his hair increased the risk of hair loss, advising him to take the medicine. Going downstairs, Ji-young's new haircut surprised all the uncles, who complimented him on how great it looked. He invited his friends to eat, and they were shocked by his hair. Lee Yeji was stunned to see Ji-young resembling the boss of the Fire Bear Gang. During the meal, Myung-jun asked Ji-young about his plans now that he had defeated the Super Asshole Alliance. Reflecting on his journey, Ji-young started as a kind person for 10 years but became a bad person to follow his father's footsteps and make him proud. Despite losing Soo Jin, he accepted the changes and had a new group of important people in his life. Ji-young declared his new objective to fulfill the role of the Fire Bear successor, meeting his father's expectations. He acknowledged that the path ahead would be challenging but was ready to face it with the support of friends and family willing to help him along the way. As Gai Sang finishes cleaning up the hair, his boss asks him about his biggest pet peeve. Gai Sang starts trembling and confesses that he can't stand liars. The boss then probes Gai Sang about where he went and why he arrived late, remembering Jae Wook's warning about keeping things secret to prevent the Fire Bear Gang from collapsing. Gai Sang nervously lies, saying he was patrolling Jiyoung's school route. Even though the boss senses Gai Sang is lying, he realizes there must be a reason for it. As the boss leaves, he instructs Gai Sang to take care of the young master, to which Gai Sang promises to do. The boss is proud of Jae Wook for handling family matters. Meanwhile, Jae Wook is sharing a meal with one of the young master's siblings, Ji-Duke, who is 17 years old. Jae Wook explains that C1 is attempting to make another sibling the successor, surprising Ji-Duke, who had heard rumors that Jiyoung would be the successor. In a fit of anger, Ji-Duke stands up and accuses C1 of betrayal. He suggests they visit Jiyoung together to help him become the successor, but Jae Wook politely declines, expressing gratitude and mentioning he might need help later, just not at the moment. Ji-Duke reminds Jae Wook of Jiyoung's childhood nickname, initially thought to be Angel but was actually Deviled because Jiyoung was a troublemaker in preschool. Ji-Duke shares a significant memory of how Jiyoung protected him during that time. Jiyoung stood up for Ji-Duke when he was teased for not having a mother. However, after Jiyoung expressed the need to protect a certain girl, Soo-jin, they lost contact. 10 years later, Ji-Duke discovers he has more siblings and must compete with them to become the successor. If Jiyoung doesn't become the successor, Ji-Duke will take on that role. Meanwhile, young Jiyeon arrives at the house and is surprised by Jiyoung's new haircut. Jiyoung asks Gai Sang how he's so skilled at cutting hair when he's bald, shocking everyone. Gai Sang claims that he, too, once had precious hair. Jong Sok wonders about Da-eun's whereabouts, only to find out she was sleeping with Han Gam after playing together. As they get ready to leave, Lee Yeji asks if she can hug the bear. Han Gam jumps into her arms, and she's surprised by how fluffy he is. Gai Sang watches, feeling jealous, as Han Gam doesn't react the same way when he hugs him. Meanwhile, as Jae Wook arrives outside, he calls for Gai Sang to join him. Jae Wook asks if he caught Kim Min-woo, and Gai Sang confirms that he did. They walk towards Kim Min-woo's location, and as they enter, Gai Sang's followers greet them. They're curious about the person with Gai Sang, and he introduces Jae Wook as the one he serves. They're all surprised but immediately greet him. Jae Wook mentions that they are the younger brothers of the Fire Bear Gang, and Dae Wong is happy that he made the right choice last time. As Jae Wook notices Kim Min-woo, who is tied up and bloodied, he demands a detailed explanation of C1's plan. However, Kim Min-woo insists that C1 had no involvement and apologizes, stating it was his own decision. Jae Wook questions how Kim Min-woo can be certain that he won't be killed by C1 if he returns in his current state. When Kim Min-woo remains uncooperative, Jae Wook orders Gai Sang to educate him, kicking him in his broken leg, causing him to scream out in agony. Despite the pain, Kim Min-woo maintains that C1 was not involved. After a second kick to the other leg breaks his bone and renders him unconscious, Jae Wook turns to the other members and threatens them with the same treatment if they refuse to confess. They all shout at once, claiming that C1 was involved. Gai Sang becomes annoyed and slaps them, demanding that they speak one by one. Jae Wook warns that their lives depend on the words they say next. When Kim Min-woo regains consciousness, Jae Wook questions if he's still willing to act alone. Kim Min-woo realizes he will die anyway while protecting C1. Jae Wook surprises him by mentioning that he knows about his younger brother Jiyeon-woo. This shocks Kim Min-woo, who wonders how Jae Wook could know about him. Jae Wook points out that C1 will go after his brother, making Kim Min-woo realize that he acted carelessly by involving Jiyeon-woo in the operation and that he has failed unexpectedly. Jae Wook presents a solution for both of them to survive, but Kim Min-woo is unsure of what it could be. Jae Wook then proposes that Kim Min-woo continues as C1's right-hand man while keeping their discussion and the current situation a secret. In return, Kim Min-woo will report to Jae Wook about all of C1's actions. After hesitating, Kim Min-woo ultimately agrees to the terms. Gai Sang then takes out his razor as Jae Wook states he has made his decision. As they shave his head, Jae Wook suggests letting his followers grow their eyebrows out, making them cry tears of joy. Gai Sang is annoyed with how happy they are getting, but they notice and quickly get back in line. After Gai Sang finishes shaving his head, Jae Wook asks if he knows what to say to C1. Kim Min-woo states that he will tell him he was in a car accident and shaved his head as a fashion statement for a side job. Jae Wook is pleased with the story and takes his leave, asking to speak to Guy Sang outside. Jae-wook explains that if he wants to raise good followers, he has to treat them sometimes. He also mentions that they now have an advantage since Kim Min-woo is on their side, and they will know C1's next moves. Jae-wook asks Guy Sang if they were to become enemies with C1, would he be able to kill him? To which Guy Sang claims he can. Jae-wook pauses with a serious face for a second before claiming that he's just joking and that it won't get to that point. He then asks Guy Sang to listen to what he says and thanks him for everything before taking his leave. As Guy Sang enters the lair, he orders his followers to release Kim Min-woo, but as they untie him, Kim Min-woo collapses to the ground, screaming in pain as both of his legs are broken. Despite his pleas for an ambulance, they ignore him on the floor. Min-woo begs for help, and eventually, he is taken to the hospital and placed in a bed next to his brother. Meanwhile, some of the Red Dragon gang members discuss Kim Min-woo, with one member claiming he is taken care of by Guy Sang himself and that there won't be any problems. However, Taebong-jang questions whether that plan makes sense, suggesting that they may have to resort to Plan B if Min-woo fails. While speaking with his followers, Guy Sang announces his plan to create a secret service unit to protect the young master. Although they express gratitude, Guy Sang believes they are too weak and lack fighting power. He reveals that Kim Min-woo will be joining them soon as number 5. Guy Sang orders them to fight among themselves to determine their rank between 1 to 5, causing panic. However, he assures them that they will have plenty of time to get stronger since Kim Min-woo is in the hospital with both legs broken, saying, "Prepare to take them to Fire Bear Mountain." Meanwhile, Jeon-woo is dreaming that he's on a boat with his brother when the boat suddenly starts sinking, and his brother disappears, causing him to panic. He screams as he wakes up and realizes it was just a dream. Chan-woo asks if he's okay, but Jeon-woo wonders if he's still dreaming since he sees his brother in front of him. Chan-woo explains that things got a little messy, which causes Jeon-woo to panic even more when he notices that both of his legs are broken. He wonders who could have caused this as he tries to stand up. The pain in his stomach stops him, but then his brother reassures him that everything is going to be fine and apologizes for getting him involved in the situation. Jeon-woo questions why there is a need for an apology as it was his weakness that led to the loss of the fight and now the situation they find themselves in. Chan-woo responds that they only have one option for survival and urges Jeon-woo to do as he says. He reflects on his previous conversation with Jae-wook, where they discussed working for him in secret and providing information about C1's future actions. Chan-woo informs Jeon-woo that Jong is likely to form a new alliance. Jeon-woo, feeling frustrated, expresses a desire for revenge. However, Chan-woo explains that even if Jeon-woo gets his revenge, it will be meaningless if he doesn't survive the aftermath. He suggests that joining the alliance is the only viable way for Jeon-woo to ensure his survival. Jeon-woo hesitates to make a decision but ultimately agrees to follow Chan-woo's advice and decides that he will join the alliance, although he has initial doubts. Jeon-woo trusts Chan-woo's judgment, and Chan-woo thanks him for listening. Meanwhile, at the house, Myung-jun invites Young Jeon to the rooftop for a smoke. As they arrive at the rooftop, Myung-jun has a serious expression on his face. He asks Young Jeon about his plans for the future, to which Young Jeon replies that he wants to study, learn new skills, and get a job. He asks Myung-jun what he wants to do, to which Myung-jun states he wants to become a gangster. They both pause for a moment before Young Jeon starts laughing. He congratulates Myung-jun on finding something he wants to do and realizes that Jeong must have influenced him lately. Myung-jun expresses his desire to help Jeong become the Fire Bear gang boss. They both head back downstairs, and Myung-jun thanks Young Jeon for the talk. Meanwhile, Guy Sang and the followers arrive at Fire Bear Mountain as they begin their training. On the other hand, as Jae-wook walks back home, Sang Ji-yu carelessly barges into his shoulder, but Jae-wook chooses to let it slide as he is in a good mood today. Meanwhile, Sang Ji-yu panics and continues walking, annoyed at having been told to come to this location by someone. Upon arriving at the house, Han Gam warmly greets Jae-wook. Jeong quickly notices his return and rushes over to him, catching him playing with Han Gam. However, upon realizing that they are watching him, he quickly puts Han Gam down. He apologizes to Jeong's friends for embarrassing himself, but Do Park reassures him that it's nothing to be ashamed of, as they all reacted the same way to the bear. Afterward, Jae-wook requests a private conversation with Do Park and Jeong. As they reach the rooftop, Jae-wook commends the young master for defeating the Super Asshole Alliance and compliments his new haircut. He asks Ji-young if he has decided on a name for his new alliance, to which he comes up with "bad person," which Jae-wook likes. Jae-wook then instructs Do Park to organize the members of the new alliance, and he agrees to do so. With the celebratory talk out of the way, it's time for a serious conversation. Jae-wook tells Do Park to show Ji-young the picture he took, revealing Kim Min-woo with Ji-yeon-woo. This shocks Ji-young, who questions why they are together. Jae-wook explains that they are brothers and that Kim Min-woo's real name is Eun Chan-woo. Ji-young wonders if Uncle Si-won knows that Chan-woo is his right-hand man. Jae-wook confirms that Si-won knew and even refused to let Chan-woo and Ji-yeon-woo leave. Jae-wook does not tell him the truth about Si-won but mentions that they allow Ji-yeon-woo to join their alliance, which shocks both Ji-young and Do Park. Ji-young expresses confusion as he is a member of the Red Dragon Gang and fears that Si-won will be angry if they find out. Jae-wook suggests that if Ji-yeon-woo joins their alliance, they will be able to protect him from Si-won's wrath. He argues that it would be better for Ji-young to have Ji-yeon-woo in their alliance than to stay with the Red Dragon Gang, considering how strong he is. Ji-young agrees to let Ji-yeon-woo join, and Jae-wook instructs him to head back down while he speaks to Do Park privately. During their conversation, Jae-wook expresses his concern that if Ji-yeon-woo refuses to join the young master, he is likely to lose his composure, something he wants to avoid. Jae-wook assigns Do Park the mission of persuading Ji-yeon-woo to join the young master's alliance and assures him that he has a plan in place to accomplish this task. Curious about what comes next? Click on this video to continue. And don't forget to like and subscribe.